guy. Left alone through your emotions, kept hidden inside. There's no motion now. How you going, guys? Welcome to episode 7, I think I'm up to now, of Corey's Wall of Sound. I've got a special guest today. I've got Paul Rowling here. He's a big metal fan.
Good to be here, mate.
And good to have you on board.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, me and Paul went to school together, Duncraig Senior High, from year 8, and I left after year 9. You kept going?
I kept on going to about year 12, yeah. But
Did the righty?
pretty much, yeah. Graduated. I don't know how I graduated, but I managed to, and and
Got through it?
got through it all right.
We've kept in touch over the years.
We have,
On and off.
yeah,
You lived
yeah.
over east for on and off for years.
Yeah, I went over there left about February 1997, and I
Yep.
came back December 2017. So I was over there for well over 20 years.
Yep.
Yeah, learned a lot about life.
Too long, because that was 20 years that we didn't get to
Yeah.
hang out and
Yeah,
drink
no,
little creatures.
we
Thank
kind
you.
of
What are you on?
I've got the
Stones.
Stones. Mate. Yeah, so there we go.
So, sorry, I
We
cut you
kind
off.
of lost touch for a while.
Yeah.
Perhaps, I don't know, maybe after you left school. Probably for nearly 10 years. I think.
Yep, initially, and then again later when you moved back over east.
Yeah, especially in the early 90s when I started at Perth Tech. I don't think I saw you again probably until about 93, around the early 90s period.
Actually, I think it was 96.
Possibly, yeah.
It was, because I remember where I was living when we first caught up again, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Too many years.
I remember riding to your house at night one time to catch up with you.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
That's keen.
You can't remember where you were living, but I do remember it because I kept on ringing you because I kind of lost my way. Oh, where am I? It's like, well, eventually I got to your house.
Yeah.
I think it was in some sort of 60s bungalow or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know if you were sharing
there
with.
was a few of them.
Yeah, I don't know if you were sharing with a couple.
Yeah, well, probably would have been back then.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah. Wild days.
Pretty wild. Yeah.
We're going to be talking tonight about albums that influenced us, that we loved growing up. So not so much a ranking album. There's no real order. We're just going to run through albums that were inspired by, influenced by, or just plain love to crank up and get into.
Albums that we generally saw and just loved, and
Yeah.
could be any, not necessarily metal. It could be any type of music. Having so many different type of interests, it's kind of I don't know, broaden my horizons, but it's like I said, it's basically just what we grew up with and what we liked.
Yep.
So there's a good variety with mine.
Yeah, there is.
I can say that. Yeah.
And I must admit, I do know what he's got on his list because he was asking me to help him with it.
Yeah.
But there's some really, really good stuff there. So we're looking forward to that. But I reckon we should start, and I reckon you should go first.
All right, mate. Yeah.
What have you got for us first up, Rolsey?
Okay.
Rolsey, we call him.
Well, first one I've got is Alice Cooper's Poison album, which he did in
88?
Late 80s, wasn't it?
Late
Yeah.
89. I remember it being a hit in 89.
Yeah.
But I think it might have come out just right at the end of 88.
And
Can you read the back of that, or did you forget your glasses?
I actually did forget my glasses, but I can just read it. And a mate of mine at Perth Tech at the time got me into this. He lent me his cassette version of this. And prior to that, I'd never heard of Alice Cooper at all. And
Well, you would have, but you wouldn't have realised who he was.
I originally thought he was one of these, these early 80s glam metalists like Twisted Sister and Motley and Rat and all those other Quiet Riot and all those other type of ones.
He fitted right in with that.
He kind of fitted in with these type of guys. He certainly had the look and the sound, and So I started playing. Oh, yeah, this is pretty good. You know, it's a lot of great songs on here. You got, you know, Poison's a great song. I mean, wasn't it the #1 hit with that go?
It was a big hit, yeah. Like that album was massive for Alice Cooper.
There's not much on this album that I don't like. It's like Spark in the Dark's
Spark in the Dark's great.
That's a great one.
I like the one that stands out for me is oh my god, Better Nails.
Better Nail, yeah, that's another killer song. Love House of Fire.
House of Fire is another good
Love
one.
his vocals of that. Why Trust You, yeah, that's a pretty good song.
Eric Singer, Trundle.
Yeah, he did indeed, yeah. This Maniac's in Love with You, that's, I've heard him do that live a few times. That's always come out pretty well. If there was a weakness on this song, it would probably be the title of the album itself, Trash.
Yeah,
that's
right.
not really
Trash.
Yeah. That's not really my favourite song on the album.
Yeah.
But, Hell Is Living Without You, that's another
one.
killer song.
Yep.
And I'm Your Gun. Now that's probably the one on here that I really like to crank it up to.
Yep.
It's just got a killer riff and just killer vocals, and you just feel like you want to put it up full bore.
Yeah.
And when he does it live, it's he did a lot of these songs on his tour of Birmingham live in Birmingham.
Yep.
You know that one.
The
Trash tour where he did live in Birmingham.
Yep.
That's a lot of these songs are on that tour, and he's like
just cranking them
up. Yeah. So it's produced by Desmond Child. I believe he's been associated with Kiss on many.
He's been associated with Bon Jovi and a whole bunch of other bands.
And great cover too. You know, he's got the shirt and the
leather jacket.
And I think it's because of Alice himself, and because of this cover, that made me want to get a jacket as well.
Yeah.
So pretty much owe a lot to Alice in many ways.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm still a big fan of him today. And Corey and I went to see him earlier this year before this bloody Corona started.
I still owe you money for that. I'll fix you up.
There's no hurry, mate. There's plenty of time for that. So,
but a lot of people have definitely heard this album that are in the metal and hard rock and all that. But great album.
So it's definitely one of my favourite Alice.
It's a great party album.
Yeah, it is.
All right, I'm going to bring one. They're not in any order or anything, so we're just going to talk about. The one I'm going to bring up here is by a band that probably no one has really ever heard of, but a lot of stuff I was listening to was that. A band called Bo Nasty. Dirty But Well Dressed is the album title. And I got this in 90 when I went over to see Motley Crue and Skid Row in Sydney. They played in the same week. Mm-hmm. And I ended up picking up a few albums from Utopia.
Sydney Entertainment Centre? Or?
Motley was, and Skid Row were at Horton Pavilion.
Right, yeah.
Skid Row, Motley, I got there at the beginning of the weekend. Motley played on the Saturday night, and then the following Friday night, Skid Row played. So we got to see both in the 1 week. But going back to Bo Nasty, this is just one of those albums that was kind of a gem, but never got picked up on. And there was a lot of that coming out in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s.
Sounds rather pornographic.
Well, it does, doesn't it? Dirty But Well Dressed, Bo Nasty. Brian Young, who's the guitar player in this. I actually did an interview with him for rockpit.net a couple of years ago. Had a chat with him on the phone. And it was great chatting with someone from a band that was obscure. But he's played with David Lee Roth and a few other bigger bands. Yeah. But some of the tracks on this, the video clip, if you watch it on YouTube, Shake It. Just everything. Goodbye Rosie's a great song. Dirty But Well Dressed. Gemini. Piece of the Action. Make a Wish, and then they do a cover of Love Potion No. 9, which I think every third or fourth band in history have recorded at some point. Yeah. But very hard to get. But if you look up online or YouTube, look up Bo Nasty, Dirty But Well Dressed. But definitely check out the video clip for Shake It. The guy's got probably one of the most intense high voices in that period. But yeah, this rocks, man. I love this. Good stuff.
Yeah.
What you got there, buddy?
Well, second one is second Alice Cooper one, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. This one is called Love It to Death, and it's quite special to me for certain reasons. Firstly, it was done produced in 1971. Corey and I were both born in that year.
Great year.
This, I believe, was their third album. The albums that they'd done prior to this weren't really going all that well. They were trying to find some sort of direction. Yeah, I was just going to say, kind of like Kiss Away with the first three albums they did prior to doing Alive. Yeah, they were trying to, Alice and the boys are trying to find themselves, and but once they got onto this album, this is where it really started to click for them. You've got a lot of great songs, like the first one, Caught in a Dream. That's a great song. I love cranking that one up. Just got a simple riff, and and just
the band was still Alice Cooper. It was more of a band.
It was like the band was actually called Alice Cooper, and these are his original bandmates from high school.
Yep.
You got Dennis Dunaway, who he met in art class. You got Glenn Buxton, who apparently he died 5 or so years ago. I think he was the lead guitarist in the original band. You got Neil Smith. He's the original drummer, and what's Michael Bruce? He was the rhythm guitarist. Yeah. And they're all still around, and they still keep in touch with Alice. They've done a few shows together.
Yeah.
Across America, and I think they went over to Europe as well.
Yeah, right.
I'd love to see Alice team up with these original guys and do another gig. I reckon it'd do quite well.
I'm 18. I mean, classic.
I'm 18. A Long Way to Go. That's a great song. Black Juju is very sort of haunting. It's got a sort of it starts off in a strange sort of way, then it sort of picks up, and then you kind of sort of get into the song. It's got a sort of vibe to it.
Hello Be Thy Name, that's not the Iron Maiden song, is it?
No,
obviously not.
Hello Be Thy Name is another great one. That's hallowed be thy name. It's got it's good sort of
a bit of punch
to it. Yeah. And of course, one of my favourite Alice songs is the Ballad of Dwight Fry.
Yeah.
That you won't really find that on any of these other albums. I've got Alice's video prime cuts, and that's when I first became familiar with the Ballad of Dwight Fry. And I thought, what album would that be on? And it's on this one.
An early one. So that's his third album?
I think that's his third or fourth album, but definitely one of the most successful ones. And after this, there was Killers and School's Out.
Yeah, well, Killers came out in 71 too.
Yeah, and that was the snake with the red background.
Yep, and then School's Out.
School's Out was like the the classroom desk or something like that.
Yep.
And, so that so that's Alice Cooper's Love It to Death. Yeah, that's pretty special to me. And when I look at these guys, especially on the back here, I actually prefer the photo on the back rather than on the front. Kind of makes me wish I would have loved to have been in this band. If I was born in 1951 and was hanging out with these guys in 1971 and living in America, I would have liked to have been in this band.
Living the dream.
I would have liked to have been Dennis Dunaway on the bass.
Yeah.
He was kind of my favourite, So
there you go.
Yeah, so
do yourself a favour, people.
Do yourself a favour. Do yourself a favour. What we said. Yeah. So Alice Cooper, Love It to Death. Yeah, that's pretty much up there for me with Alice too.
Excellent. So a couple of Cooper ones in there.
Yep.
Now I'm going to bring up this one because it's the only other CD I got. I found the rest that I wanted to talk about on vinyl, so I thought I'll just get the CD ones out of the way first.
Mm-hmm.
But what year was this? 2000, I think it was. Yeah. Orgy Vapor Transmission.
Wow.
I love. This is definitely. I mean, obviously it's in my top ranking albums, but their first album I really, really dug when it came out, which was called Candy Ass. Don't laugh, it's what they called it. Orgy Candy Ass. I mean, if you see a CD with it, you're gonna buy it, aren't you?
There was a Candy Harlots.
Well, yeah. I've got a story about that, but that's for another time. Good guys, though.
Yeah, I know Lino and all that.
Yeah, Lino's cool.
Yeah.
Hi, Lino, because he could be watching this. He might be on our friend list.
He might be.
He
might be doing a gig tonight.
Yeah.
Somewhere
Jerk were a good band when he was in that band. But yeah, Orgy Candy Ass. It is electronic rock. This is very spacey. It's very atmospheric. It's got a lot of soundscapes. I think the band are just great. Some of the top songs on there would be, what do we got here? Opticon's great. Dreams and Digital, which has got a video clip for you might want to check out. Eyes of Your Radio, Dramatica is probably my favourite on there. But yeah, if you're into electronic rock with catchy choruses but really out there sounds and stuff, then Orgy, Vapor Transmission is the way to go. Love it. Like, honestly, check some of that out. It's really good.
Interesting, mate. Yeah.
Rollsy.
Okay, now another
Back to the rolls.
Now we're going back to the 60s here, actually around about 1969. And of course, a bit of Jimi Hendrix live at Woodstock. From a live point of view, I think you really couldn't ask anything better. On here, you know, this is where Jimmy really established himself in America. Although he is American, he actually, as you probably know, he started his career in England with the Jimi Hendrix Experience. So he came back to America, and you know, he did a gig at Woodstock. I think apparently the weather was rather bad that day. It was rather inclement weather, and they had to wait a while for Jimmy to come onto the stage. But when he finally did, he really just kicked ass and established himself. I mean, even just the introduction is just great. How, you know, Jimmy comes on, he's introducing his band. You know, we got Billy Cox on bass here, you know, from Nashville, Tennessee. You know.
Yeah. It's just very casual about it, isn't he?
Excuse me, Mitch Mitchell on drums here, and the crowd's going, yeah. So it's kind of like that, and
it's funny because Hendrix never really liked his voice. He never looked
at
himself.
He was rather insecure in many ways. I don't know if he was guitar playing, but certainly his vocals.
Definitely not his guitar playing.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
I can sort of understand where he's coming from.
I thought he did actually okay.
There's
some tracks that he just kills.
You know, you got. Oh, what would be my favourite on here? It's like, well, certainly on. I think side 2 would probably be my favourite. I mean, you've got Fire, you've got Voodoo Child, but of course he's mostly known for the Star Spangled Banner. That's when he really,
especially from that,
this is where pretty much, you know, naturally we're caused a bit of controversy with the, you know, the government, you know, altering the national anthem, and you know, but he just, and apparently he only played the same guitar for the whole show.
Yeah,
he didn't change guitars at all. Imagine if he snapped a string or something like that.
And with the way he used his whammy
bar and stuff he didn't do that. So he just played the one guitar with the whole show. But after the Star Spangled Banner, it goes into Purple Haze.
Beautiful. And
then he just goes berserk again. And that solo is probably even better than the Star Spangled Banner. That's where I feel he really went berserk.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
During the solo after he did with Purple Haze.
Yeah.
Then you just got, of course, his final one on there is Hey Joe. It's. Did
you do Little Wing on that show?
No, he didn't do Little Wing. But getting back to side 1, even just Message to Love, that's quite a good.
Yeah.
That's quite a good song. The show had a good introduction. Yeah. Then it just gradually got better and better and better, I think, leading up to side 2. And then about 6 months later, he was dead, wasn't he? Something like that.
After that, no.
Yeah, it's...
Have you seen the concert?
I have got it on DVD somewhere at home. I haven't watched it for a while, but so watching the concert, then listening to this, it's like... And to think he was creating all this fantastic music before we weren't even born.
No.
It's
he was creating what we would end up like. It was the foundation of what we love about hard rock and metal, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard to comprehend that this guy was cranking out all this before we were even born. It's like,
I mean, you had Purple and Blue Cheer and Zeppelin and all that going on, but you had Jimi Hendrix was on his own. It wasn't because he was in a 3-piece, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
he stood out as an individual.
Yeah, and they say that perhaps he was a founding member of heavy metal. Perhaps he was an influence. I don't know.
He definitely opened up the doors as far as guitar sounds.
I'd say he would have.
That. I mean, Eddie Van Halen. Listen to all his early stuff and. You know what he'd been listening to, and Hendrix,
and of course he was left-handed.
Yeah,
considered the greatest guitarist of all time, and he was left-handed.
Yeah,
and he hated his voice, hated his singing voice.
So he left such a mark.
Yeah, so he was quite despite his talent, he was quite insecure in many ways. So it was, yeah.
Jimmy.
Another album I always loved listening to, cranked up in the car.
Yeah.
I probably had this played driving back over here from Sydney.
Yeah. Just on repeat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
Repeat. Very cool. Jimi Hendrix.
So that's Jimmy's live show at Woodstock.
Yep. All right, I'm going to start getting into the vinyl now because they're just easier for people to see when I put them up. TKO, this band here, me and my mate T-Bone, you know T-Bone, we all went to school together.
I knew him as JJ, but
JJ, T-Bone, whatever you want to call him. His brother, when we were 13, 14, had this album and we got a tape of it and we just got thrashed. Brad Sinsel, I talked to him quite a lot.
Dee Snider type look to about the long hair. Oh, it's sort of bit of Dee and maybe Vince Neil.
Now it's this band never really broke out in any kind of mainstream or anything. It's got the I'm a heavy rockin' dude, don't fuck with me type look, which is great. That's what you kind of needed back in those days. But no, I talked to Brad. He's a great guy. He's still out there and he's got a killer voice. My favourite tracks off here are "Give Into the Night," "I Want to Fight," "I Don't Want to Talk About It," no. "Run Out of Town." Every song on here, "End of the Line," "Working Girl," "All I Want to Do," "Don't Give It Away," "I Can Do Without You," and "This Is Rock and Roll," and of course "Danger City." But if you want some early 80s hard rock that really just kicks your dick in the dirt, then this is a really good album to start with. I think they recorded it in 83 in Hawaii, or 82, but it didn't come out until 84 on Music for the Nations. And then it came out on Combat and then another one. But yeah, TKO, if you want some good hard rock from early 80s, that is definitely one to check out. For sure. What you got, Rolsey?
Okay, my next one. Well, we're going back to the 60s again.
Yep.
And we got a Rolling Stones one here. Perhaps considered to be their best. Exile on Main Street.
With a back cover like that, you'd have to...
Well, yeah. You wonder how he got all that in his mouth. Yeah.
There you go. Imagine sitting around having a meeting about the artwork for that album.
Yeah.
The guy with the mouth and with the balls, use that, that'll do.
Now, the history of this, at this time, the Stones were broke. They owed so much money. England was charging like 90% taxes on anything that you earned back in those days.
Jesus Christ.
So
was that Thatcher? Well, before her.
No, that was pre-Thatcher. I don't know who was PM of England at that time.
Yeah.
It might have been Ted Heath. I got no idea.
I don't even know if I can name it.
But the Stones, they were making a lot of money with their album sales and their concerts, but the trouble is they weren't getting paid. I think Alan Klein might have been their manager at the time. He was screwing them around. They're just like, they weren't getting anywhere, so they thought, well, look, we got to get out of here. And then they went to exile in France. And the bulk of this, I believe, was produced at Keith Richards' house at Norcott. And apparently this house used to be a headquarters for Heinrich Himmler for the Nazis in the Second World War.
Wow.
So, and apparently recording there was like the place was stinking hot in the basement. And every time they tried to cut a track, the power used to go off. Or every like 2 hours or so, they'd be in the middle of a track and suddenly, bang, the power's going, oh shit, we got to do this again. So wait till the power comes back on and do this again. Keith was dating Anita Pallenberg at that time, and they had the house together. Every day someone would come over and just hang out. It was like one big party and probably an orgy as well.
If he was producing it, that would have taken a long time to get done.
Well, it would have, because half the time he was probably stoned or asleep.
Drunk So what year was that?
Probably 1970, I think.
70,
I think 70 or 71. Sticky Fingers, the album prior to this, I think was 71.
71, so that must be either 71, 72 maybe.
I think it might have been 72.
All right.
And it's often been debated if this one was better than Sticky Fingers because they're both very sort of related.
Yep. And there's that guy again with the
Yeah.
balls in the mouth.
So when I first heard this album, I didn't really get much into it. I don't know if I might have got it on one of my trips to England. I'm not really sure.
Is there any hits off that one? Is there anything that people would know, or is it just one of them obscure early 70s?
Okay, you got Tumbling Dice. Everyone knows that song.
Yeah.
You know, caught in the tumbling dice. That type one. You got Happy. Everyone knows Happy. You know, I think Keith sings that with Mick. I'm not quite sure.
Must have been good drugs at the time then.
Possibly, yeah. But with this album, when you listen to it for the first time, you can't really sort of get in. You got to go over it and over it and over again to sort of appreciate. I mean, that's what I did.
Let it settle.
The more I listened to it, the more I kind of got into it. And there's a lot of great songs on here. And I need bloody reading glasses.
You haven't got any on you?
I've got a cheap pair at home which I forgot to bring.
Yeah. Do you want to try mine? We can do the swaps here with the goggles.
Yeah. Now here we go. Rocks Off is a great song. Rip This Joint. That's got a killer riff at the beginning. Yeah, Rip This Joint. It's like kind of like that. Yeah. Shake Your Hips. I think that's kind of got shake your hip, babe, shake your hip, babe. That's where that's what you really got to sort of listen to it over and over again to sort of get into it. Sweet Virginia, that's a great one. Torn and Fray, that kind of sounds related to Keith and his drug problems and all that, you know, getting wasted and all that.
Oh, really? Did he?
Well, it wasn't soft drink, mate.
No, it definitely wasn't soft drink.
No, it wasn't Coke. Well, he might have had bourbon.
It wasn't gas lemonade.
No. Let It Loose, All Down the Line. That's a great song they did live. I've actually got an album of theirs at home which they did live during this period where they did a lot of these songs and they had Mick Taylor on playing lead guitar because Mick had replaced Brian Jones, the first drummer who drowned himself in the swimming pool, and Mick was a fantastic guitar player. He ended up leaving around about 1974, 75, and then he was replaced by Ronnie Wood.
Woody came in.
Came in, and they've been stuck with Ronnie ever since. So, Soul Survivor. That's the final song, and that's a great song.
So you recommend that for people as a Rolling Stones album? It's
considered one of their best Rolling Stones one. It always gets 5 stars. It's kind of a toss up between this one and Sticky Fingers. They're kind of you know, similar in many ways. Keith's often been asked this, you know, Keith, what do you think's better, Sticky Fingers or X? He can't really make up his mind. He thinks they're both good. So and of course you got the famous logo, the logo, the Rolling Stones lip logo, which was designed by Andy Warhol, I believe.
Let's look at that. Now, you got my glasses on. So the tongue.
Yeah, the tongue.
Yeah, right. So was that the first time it was used?
No, I think the first time they used it was with Sticky Fingers.
Okay, so
this would have been
re-release.
This would have been the second time they used the tongue.
Tongue
logo. Yeah.
Yeah. So all those people that like the tongue.
Yeah, and it's great collage picture as well at the front.
Yeah.
Just very simple collage. So
very cool.
Yeah, I kind of
bit of Stones.
Bit of Stones. So yeah, I'm partial to a bit of Stones, and Exile on Main Street's definitely up there with me.
Beautiful. Now I'm going to go to one that I actually spoke about on my last Corey's Wall of Sound. I'm talking about Hotter Than Hell, my favourite Kiss album. Look, if you're a Kiss fan, I don't need to explain anything. There's a lot of them that don't even rate this album very high, but it's their second album.
It's probably the album cover that they don't rate highly rather than the music.
Yeah, I love the cover. It definitely, when you're 8 years old and you get the album and you're looking at the back cover, I don't know if you can see those pictures, but you know, there's some pretty out there.
And they apparently they got really wasted doing
it. Ended up being a party.
Yeah,
the photo shoot. Yeah. Ended up being a big party, and Paul got drunk, and they actually locked him in the car downstairs.
Gene didn't drink. He didn't, because he doesn't drink at all, so he didn't.
No, but I'm sure Peter and Ace had a couple of drinks.
Oh yeah, they probably had more than Paul.
Apparently, it ended up almost like being an orgy kind of thing. Yeah. But and there is a lot of photographs online. If you look up "Hotter Than Hell" photo shoot Kiss, I'm sure that you'll get a lot more.
Oh yeah.
That. But I love this album. Every song on it cranks. Got to choose Parasite, Going Blind, Hotter Than Hell.
Parasite's one of my favourite of that period. That's written by Ace.
Absolutely. It's heavy.
Yeah.
It sounds dark.
Yeah.
All the way Watching You, Mainline, Coming Home in Strange Ways.
Yeah.
Just pure Kiss.
Parasite's a killer on that tour they did in the Winterland in San Francisco.
Parasite's such a good. Every song is great.
Yeah.
Great.
No.
Look, Mainline's probably for me the weakest track on here, but that's a good song, you know. But
I think it's the cover itself.
Yeah,
that perhaps
with the Japanese, it's got the Japanese thing going, the rising sun.
With the Hotter Than Hell, it's got that Hotter Than Hell. It's kind of like I don't know, it's sort of. So I think
it is weird.
Yeah. But the songs are great. Yeah.
So if you're not really a Kiss fan and you've only heard "I Was Made for Loving You" and "Rock and Roll All Night" or whatever, and you want to really know, where they've come from, this is a really good one to go to.
Yeah.
Definitely
agree there.
Love it.
Okay, moving on.
What you got?
We've got the 70s now, and of course we all know this one.
Everyone knows.
Meat Love. Who doesn't know Bat Out of Hell, the original Bat Out of Hell?
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf himself.
Yep.
Not bacon, eggs, or sausage rolls. But Meatloaf.
Yep.
And I first got into Meat when I saw him in the Rocky Horror playing Eddie. That's he sang a song there. Then he got bumped off by Frankenfooter, played by Tim Curry.
He did.
Yeah, and first of all, I love the album cover.
Great cover.
I used to see this in shops many times, and I didn't know Meatloaf at the time. I remember seeing it at Carina. I seen this artwork.
Yeah.
I thought, who's this? Who did this? I mean, or what is it? I don't.
And you'll probably hear the songs on the radio and not
knowing who it was. There's just something about that bike coming out of the ground there. The colours,
chick on it.
The chick on it. It's like and the bat sort of in the background.
Love it.
And it's a good logo as well. The Meatloaf
logo.
Great. Yeah, it's a great, well-designed logo.
The whole album is great.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, isn't it one of like the third highest-selling album of all time, or something? Third or fourth?
It's definitely up there.
It's definitely up there. And this is like a special sort of edition one where it's got the bonus tracks. It's got a live version of him doing "Bat Out of Hell." That's pretty good. His voice was very, very powerful in this concert.
Back in the day,
And when he finished his concert, he probably collapsed in the after the show. And didn't he have
gas
oxygen
type,
from what I used to hear.
I guess because he was a big guy, he kind of
he was a big guy,
out
big
pretty
voice.
quick.
Yeah. So by the time he
dehydration kicks in.
He was like, he just collapsed on the ground. He just, come on, mate, come on, breathe in, breathe out, come on, that's it, mate. So, yeah, he's a pretty sort of big guy, but very powerful voice and
great songwriting, great lyrics,
great songs. Of course, they're all written by Jim Steinman.
I didn't think you were going to mention him then.
No, we've got to bring him up somewhere.
Yeah, Jim Steinman obviously wrote the music.
Yeah, Jim's listening to you. Well, what about me, man?
Yeah, what about me? Put my name on the cover.
It's always fucking me.
So now Meat wrote all the lyrics, or only did Jim?
No, I don't think Meat wrote any lyrics or the song. It was all Jim Steinman.
He wrote the whole
Meat
lot,
was just
right?
He was just a vocal.
He was just the meat in the sandwich.
Pretty much so. Yeah, pretty much. But,
sorry, my jokes are dumb.
A lot of great songs. We all know the Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Great song.
Heaven Can Wait.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. It's,
Yeah.
Like I said, it's
Bat Out of Hell.
Bat Out of Hell. And it's one of the highest selling albums of all time. It certainly established him as a vocalist and even as a rock star himself.
Yeah.
And he's still around. He's not as he doesn't sing as much. He's quite ill these days. I think isn't he sort of like he's got back problems or
Yeah, I've got a documentary on him from
Yeah.
about probably 8 years ago where
Yeah.
he was struggling back then after
Yeah.
gigs and not sure what to do with his voice. And,
Yeah.
it's sad because, these guys, when they're young, they've got these big voices in them.
Yeah.
And, they have a big hit album like this. And then by the time they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, the voice isn't as what it used to be.
Yep.
And they can make a lot of money by at least attempting to sound like they did back in those days. And, they do it because they love it. But unfortunately, the vocal cords don't hold up as much as everything else does. And, him and Paul Stanley, guys like that, they cop a lot of shit because, they can't sound like
they used to hang out a lot. I've seen images.
Yeah.
Them together during the Dynasty period.
But I'm sure that they would all say, if we knew that we're going to be doing these songs in our 60s, that we would have changed the key at least.
Yeah,
make it a bit easier.
I like his look at this time as well.
He's
got this like a dinner suit. He's got the long. I always liked him with his long hair. He looked really cool, the long hair.
Yeah.
And he always appeared on Hey Hey It's Saturday. You remember him on Hey Hey It's Saturday?
We nearly took him in as an Aussie, didn't we?
We pretty much did.
Until the grand final.
Oh yeah.
Until the AFL grand final.
He really stuffed up at the.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
And that could have been just him not being able to hear himself.
Yeah.
Properly, you know what I mean?
But he sang
something
at the rugby,
so simple.
He sang at the rugby league one as well.
Yeah. And anytime you sing outside, chances are you're not going to be able to control the sound that's going out too well, and that's because wind and everything can change all that. But
of course, this led to Bat Out of Hell 2 and other albums, but I don't think they captured the same as the original one. So
Bat Out of Hell 2 did quite well, but nothing like that.
No. So it's I've listened to this many times. It's one of the best of all time, and I think it's a good choice to have in the collection.
Yeah,
and,
I've got it. I mean, how can I have all that and not own? Well, you know what I mean? It'd be like criminal, wouldn't it?
And great names. I like his name too. The stage name, Meatloaf. That's quite a creative sort of. Apparently, he got that name playing footy in college or school.
Yeah, right.
Coach used to call him, man. When you run, you look like a pile of meatloaf when you run, something like that. So that.
I remember the old saying years ago, like meatloaf through a straw.
Yeah.
So are the days of our lives.
And he was bullied at school because of his size.
Oh, he had a horrible.
Yeah. I think his father abused him or saw that. So had a tough
was a movie brought out about him.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I've got it. I'm sure I've got it. Yeah.
So he's been through a lot, but I'm glad, considering his background, he's had a lot of success with this.
Yep.
I'm pleased he's still around. And I know he's not too well at the moment, but I hope he gets better, and I hope he gets back into more creativity whenever he can.
And just for a bit of information, his daughter, Pearl, who's a great singer herself, is married to Scott Ian from Anthrax.
Yes, he is. That's right.
Just a little background there for you.
Well, she is, yeah.
Yeah, Meatloaf didn't marry him. All right, I'm going to go way back to when I was very, very young, and my old lady used to thrash music because she was still quite young herself.
Sounds like you might have been in nappies during this time.
Well, this came out in 73, and I'm talking about Art Amore. I know people go, what?
Look at that 70s cover.
Yeah.
70s writing, yeah.
So this is an Italian singer called Art Amore who had a hit, even in Australia, with a song called Marty, 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 Marty.
It's like one of those old K-Tel records.
Yeah. Now, Arda is, she'll probably be watching this because she watches the other episodes, because I've got in contact with her over the years. She's still living in Italy and, over there with the family and avoiding all the stuff that's going on at the moment. But this album, when I was a kid growing up, it was just an album that my mum used to play, and I would always hear it. I'd probably even say, Mum, put Deep Purple on or Zeppelin or something on. But I think Mum had an Italian boyfriend at the time, so she got right into this album, how you kind of go through those phases. But this has just stuck with me, and it took me a long time to actually get this again on vinyl. Like, it's hard to get, very hard to get. But her voice is amazing. Like, she can sing beautifully, and then she's got a voice that just bah!
With a Myers sticker on the back.
Yeah. This sold well. She actually toured Australia around that time, and she played Perth. We chatted about that one night, and it's really different than what people would imagine me sticking up, but it was definitely definitely an album that I grew up listening to a lot. And then as I got to an adult and realised how good it was, then I've played it many times since too. So Art Amore, Marty Mari Mari Mari. Tina Arena actually covered that song and had a hit with it back in the early 70s too.
Okay. I can imagine her doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been covered a few times.
Because she pretty much established herself in France and in Europe and all that. So
Yeah.
I can imagine that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Young Talentine.
Young talent, old Johnny Young, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, Art Amore.
Wasn't Kamal on Young Talentine?
Oh God, he probably was when he was 10. No.
Right.
If you want to hear something different, definitely check that out. Her voice is killer. Love it. Mwah. That's how much I love that album.